Hi again, this is Jason Davis and welcome to the fourth in this tutorial video series. As usual, I have to get something straight beforehand, so for those of you who have heard this a few times before, here it is again. This series of video tutorials on the use of ALIIX, which is software for programming water to modify your reality, are being hosted and served by YouTube. These are normally accessed from within ALIIX, but if you've stumbled upon any of these videos through links outside of ALIIX or on YouTube itself, it can be confusing. To eliminate any confusion, the thing to do is visit ALIIX.com. That's ALIIX.com, where you can read about ALIIX and download the fully functional free trial. That said, let's get this going. Let's reset this and talk about the buttons a little bit. This button really doesn't apply. It's in the development environment, native to Windows, and there's just it hasn't been anything that we could do about it. Don't worry about it. If you happen to bump it, just reset ALIIX and start it again, and it'll all go back to normal. This button produces a dialog box regarding about ALIIX, version information, bug fixes, things like that. This button, as you should already know, is the Stop Reset button. This button is the main menu. Here you can access About ALIIX again. This one, as you should already know, opens sessions and opens quantum layering sessions, which we will be going to in another video, in a subsequent video. This one, as you should already know, saves sessions. This one produces a dialog box containing the medical disclaimer, which you should read. This is another Stop Reset. This one exits the program, and this one removes recent files from this listing. Now let's move over to utilities. Talk about these a little bit. This one takes you to ALIIX.com. Obviously you have to be online. There you can find out more about ALIIX, read the articles, especially what he is and how he works. This one takes you to the user forum, where there's technical support, sharing, advanced users can answer questions, so on and so forth. This is an audio, video, and textual chat. Let's go ahead and click it. Let's pull this down into the view. Here you can sign up, create a profile. If you do that, you would log in with both your screen name and your password. For now, I'll just log in with Jason. This will launch a browser. Let's pull it down into the view. Move ALIIX out of the way. Let it connect. Here you can, if you have a webcam, turn your video on, turn your audio on, make your settings, type your text here. You can also create your profile here and log in here. This button is for divination, or the divinatory elements, and what we mean by divination is the forecasting of potential or probabilities, such as can be done with the ancient Chinese I Ching, which establishes a mathematical model of you and all influences, cosmic and local, that pertain to your position and, let's call it, trajectory. This button produces the instructions in Adobe Acrobat Reader. If you don't have an Adobe Acrobat Reader, it is freely available all over the web. These are the printed instructions that are just the printed form, basically, of these video tutorials. This button, as mentioned before, I think we've mentioned it, are the intent cards, and we'll get to that in the next video. This one, as you already know, are the intent ideas that are categorized of everything that ALIIX can be used for, and then some. This is the listing of video tutorials. This button produces the log, or the history of your use of ALIIX. You can see that it includes the date and the time, what you've typed, the percentage, and the length. This one clears those logs, giving you a little warning ahead of time that making sure that that's what you want to do. Something we haven't touched on in any meaningful detail is that the purpose, place, and individually assigned meaning of the symbolic imagery is far too detailed to go into in a video, but you can go to the website and read all about those, which is a good idea. However, let's remind you of what these are called. These are the alpha glyphs. These are the cuneiform sections. These are the metaglyphs. And these are the diviner grams or D-grams. What I'm going to do now is mess around a little with the symbols, do some chaining, selecting new images, making changes, etc. for a minute or two so that you can see how some of the combinations work. While I'm doing that, I might touch on symbols of some significance, those that you could indicate that indicate it's a most conducive time to put your desires in motion, that sort of thing. While doing this, I might say any random thing or two, but since I really can't talk and chew gum at the same time, then I may just be a little bit quiet here. So let me hit enter. I'll reduce the image sizes and I'll move them around and do a little chaining. These can be chained ball to ball, so to speak, or you can change the lengths of the ones that are beneath, as an example. And as you can see right here, these are rectangles. In future programming, we intend to have these cuneiform sections be standalone so that they don't do this sort of overlapping. It's going to take some pretty advanced programming to do it, but we'll get to it in future versions. If you put one over the top of the other as an example, and there's an overlap, you can always click the one beneath it to fix it the way that you want it. As mentioned earlier, with the number of these and the sheer variety of ways that they can be chained together even in a single session, it's literally infinite the number of permutations that you have available to you. This particular one is here to function as a kind of beginning point for, let's call it a hub for the chaining, as an example. Now let's go ahead and select a couple of other images. You can see how it changes even the coloring of the glyphs, symbols, and sections themselves. Some of these can really be beautiful, so it's fun to play with. Now I'm going to go ahead and reset, select another image, and let's see if we can get this one is a good example of a symbol. If you get this particular symbol and another one that's a lot like it, only this part right here is a little bit changed, that's going to indicate that it could be a conducive moment in the moment for you to put your desires in motion. Let's go ahead and reset and see if we can see one of the other ones that we have seen a few times. I'll reset it another time here, and we're not seeing this particular one that I'm looking for. Here's a good example. If you see this one, this happens to be a very potent symbol. If you do wind up with this one in a session, randomly produced once again, it could indicate that it's going to be conducive, that the conditions are very conducive to bring about your intent. To see both of these in the same one could be an indication of some considerable power. I don't recommend that you reset over and over and over again in order to find these. Just let the conditions be the conditions. And that isn't to say that ALIIX isn't going to work for you anyway, no matter which ones you wind up with. But as these are randomly generated with you in cohesion with ALIIX, it could be an indication that that all conditions are more conducive to bring about your desires. Okay, we have to keep these videos under about 10 minutes for YouTube, so we'll wrap this one up, and in the next video we'll be talking about pocket intents.